Hey everyone, Samantha Hildebrand here with Type 1 Tribe. Thank you for tuning in to today's video and checking out my channel. Today, I actually just want to rant. And I want to rant about experts talking about diabetes as it's one thing. About type 1, type 2, gestational, all being one thing. So, let's go. So lately I have been listening to a lot of health related podcasts. My favorite thing to do now is wake up 1 hour before my daughter wakes up. I go walk on the treadmill and I listen to a podcast while I drink my coffee. And it's like my favorite thing to do now in the morning. But I've been listening to a lot of health related podcasts, especially because, I'm sure you've all been hearing about RFK coming in and trying to, make America healthy again and just, get rid of all the food dyes and the artificial flavors and colors and all the things and, getting rid of the seed oils and all this stuff. So I've just been listening to a lot of podcasts related to that. And one thing that really just annoys me with all of these health experts, or maybe not even health experts, but just whatever, doctors and all the people being interviewed, and they're experts in their specific category. They all talk about diabetes as diabetes, like one main thing. And it really just frustrates me. For example, I was actually listening to a podcast the other day with Callie Means. If you don't know who Callie Means is, he's really vocal right now because he is trying to, he's along with RFK and just trying to make things better health-wise for America, which I appreciate because I agree we do need to get rid of some of this nasty stuff that we have in America right now. Politics aside, I think it is a little crazy that we, have all these weird GMO, artificial stuff in our food. Anyway, off topic. But I do respect him as a person and I respect what he's doing. However, I listened to a podcast that he was on recently, and he just kept mentioning diabetes. And he kept saying, diabetes is increasing in the United States. People are overweight who have diabetes. Diabetes is just getting worse. Children are getting diabetes, and they need to be exercising and eating well and all this stuff. And while I hear him, I hear that it's a problem, more kids are being diagnosed with type 2 and all of that. I understand. And I also understand that 85-90% of the world has type 2 versus type 1. It still really annoys me that they can't say type 2 diabetes. And I want to pause here for a second because I actually think people who have type 2 deserve a little bit more credit than a lot of the experts give them. It's not their fault entirely, maybe, that they have type 2. And while I support everyone that has diabetes and helping us all get better and healthier and understanding everyone's personal story, I think is pretty important, it just still really annoys me that experts just don't break it out, because that is why people don't know what type 1 diabetes is. When you say, hey, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and they're just like, oh, you're a diabetic, oh, you're unhealthy, you're fat, you're whatever people think when they hear of diabetes, it just really makes me mad. And it's funny because I'm like, how do I get on these podcasts to, stand up for us people over here and stand up for type 1 diabetics, because it's an autoimmune condition. But when experts say oh, people with diabetes, all they have to do is eat healthy, eat red meat, eat veggies, cut out processed carbs, and they'll get rid of their diabetes. And I'm like, that is not the case. Maybe for certain diabetics, or maybe even pre-diabetics or whatever. I just get really annoyed that they don't break it out. I want more experts to explain the difference between all of the diabetes, because they are all different. But like I mentioned before, we need to stop bashing diabetics. I think it's not a good look amongst experts to be doing that, even for type 2s, because I don't think people who have type 2 diabetes, it's necessarily 100% their fault. They need help. And they need help in the sense of like someone needs to just help them learn about, health and learn about exercise and things that they can do to lose weight maybe, or you bring down their blood sugar or whatever the case may be. I just think like we as diabetics in general just get bashed, and it's just so annoying. Do you hear me? I just get so frustrated. And I feel like it's every podcast I listen to. We're just all diabetics and we're all one person, and it's annoying because we're not. We're all completely different people. We all have different blood sugar stories. We all have different stories. Even type 1 diabetics have different like diagnosis stories than each other. And for example, I don't have to take insulin for protein, but my friends do. So like we're all different. We all have different stories, and I just really get annoyed when experts combine us all as like we're one person and we're all overweight and just need to exercise more. So that is kind of my rant right now, is just like, how do I get on these podcasts? Because I just want to stand up for us, and I want to explain what type 1 diabetes is, how it's different than type 2. I want to stand up for type 2s. I want to stand up for women who have gestational diabetes. I just think it's not fair what they say, and we need to be more vocal amongst the type 1 diabetic community about like who we are, how this happened to us. It's not our fault at all that we live with this disease, and we need to be on more podcasts sharing our experiences. So if you are a podcast host, or if you know somebody that's a podcast host, tell them I will come on and talk about it, because I am frustrated with the health community, and I'm frustrated that they're just promoting all this like negative talk amongst diabetics. And I get what they're trying to say, like that, yeah, America's unhealthy, and like we're even getting more unhealthy as the years go on. Like I get what they're saying, but I think they need to say it in a better way. So that is my rant for today. I do love listening to the Culture Apothecary podcast. If anybody's looking for more recommendations on health podcasts, her name is Alex Clark. I've actually been following her for a long time, but she's been doing a lot of episodes in the health space, and she has had some really great guests on. And especially if you're a parent, I think it's another good podcast to listen to, because she does interview parents and their experiences with their kids and just other alternatives of ways to raise your kids, which I think is interesting now that I'm a mother. So it's not all like health related stuff. She has some other things on there as well. It's worth checking out. This is not sponsored. I just thought I'd share what health things I'm listening to. But anyway, I hope that maybe some health experts will watch this video or listen to this episode, because I would really just like them all to start describing diabetes in more detail and stop bashing us and stop saying we're all the same person, because it's just really annoying. So anyway, that is my rant for today. Comment below if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Just let me know what your thoughts are. I'll see you guys next week in the next episode. Bye. Are you looking for ways to lower your A1C, stay in range more often, feel better, just work on your health overall? If so, check out my ebook below. It is listed there. It's a link. Go check it out, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.